we haven't been talking about it, but other people have been talking to us about it. And I think people that I've talked to have read the book or heard Cesar speak about the book. The first thing they say is it's going to be a movie. And I think I mentioned this to you several times, and I said, I believe that if that's the if that's the reaction, I think it will be a movie. And I would also add that recently on the New York Times bestseller list, there's been a book about Captain James Cook, and I think there's also a book called The Wager, which talks about a crew being marooned in South Africa and going back on 2 different routes to see who would win. And there's now some new books just chronicling flyers that took planes over the hump from India across the Himalayas to bring supplies during World War II. But there's kind of a focus of people on wanting to know the history of adventures and things that happen that are exciting but they didn't know anything about. And I think we fit in that genre.
Well, it's been said in many classes at film schools that a good film should have at least 1 dramatic reversal. This one's got about 6 in just this middle section I can count on, where you're kind of following the story and all of a sudden the rug is completely pulled off. Both it's, the core happens and then the secondary scientists. So there's a lot of tug and pull and a lot of kind of squirrel moments where the boat takes off in different, but also, to Med's credit, he let the journey kind of take him too. He kind of flowed with it, especially on the second journey. He slowed down and smelled the roses a little, in New Zealand. He's fishing along the coast. He's staying 3 or 4 months near Lake Taupo. So there's, they slowed the trip down. He did have, I should note, the dream to bring the ship to Miami, and he's quoted twice as saying so. Now that never materialized, but there is an art component to this journey that we're on in the Camelot project to bring his ship to Miami, not the ship, but a tracing, artistic, full-scale version of the Camelot. Now that's a longer journey, but if anybody wants to help, let me know, because that would be a real thing to bring Kellum's a dream. Because I think that was going to be his final thing. I can bring this back home. That would have been interesting. So we have 3 plans for that. Cheap, not so cheap, and super expensive.